when it comes to Robert Rodriguez, I think he's a very good stylistic director. Movies before his kids' movies have been very interesting. But when it comes to his films for kids, he creates definitely one of the most bizarre kids' movies that I've ever seen. What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is RCD Movie Reviews. My name is On The Brain Cat, and yes, we got a new Spy Kids film out right now. Did you guys know we got a new Spy Kids film out right now? Today I'm going to review Spy Kids Armageddon. This movie is once again directed by Robert Rodriguez, who directed the other Spy Kids films and movie masterpieces such as Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and this movie stars Gina Rodriguez, Zachary Levi, and Billy Magnesium. When the children of the world's greatest secret agents unwillingly help a powerful game developer unleash a computer virus that gives them control of all technology, they must become spies themselves to save their parents and the world. Yeah, we got another Spy Kids film out. And once again, Robert Rodriguez is directing it. Now, when it comes to Robert Rodriguez, I think he's a very good stylistic director. Movies before his kids' movies have been very interesting. But when it comes to his films for kids, he creates definitely one of the most bizarre kids' movies that I've ever seen, even if I was a kid, you know, with the adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl, even though that movie was a complete guilty pleasure of mine.
He ruined my dream journal!
I did not! Mr. Electric, send him to the principal's office and have him expelled!
Ruined my dream!
But yep, with the Spy Kids franchise, it's definitely his most iconic. I really do like the first two Spy Kids films. I really do like those as a kid. The first movie was a lot of fun, but Spy Kids 2 is definitely my favorite in the series as a kid. Like, this movie was one of my biggest nostalgic movies as a kid. I always enjoyed that movie as a kid. Why? Because it has Steve Buscemi in it. Like, what could we not ask for right now? But yeah, after that, with Spy Kids 3D Game Over, probably one of the biggest bombs ever, and Spy Kids All the Time in the World is a movie that's basically not existing. I was definitely not excited for Spy Kids Armageddon. I thought the trailers looked complete shit. Honestly, I feel like this movie is one of the most unnecessary movies for this year. Honestly, Robert Rodriguez is doing Spy Kids again after All the Time in the World. Oh my god, that movie was a disaster. So I was expecting this movie to be the disaster of this year, and a bit of surprise that I didn't find Spy Kids Armageddon a disaster or the biggest shit of this year, because it does have a slight bit of positives, but still, this is definitely a bad movie. Not the worst, but definitely a bad one. I would say positives. This movie is safe for kids. I would say kids will absolutely enjoy this movie. I think this is definitely a film that knows its demographic. It knows what it is. And I wouldn't say this movie goes completely ballistic like Spy Kids 3 and 4 did. It tries to be different. It tries to be safe. It's trying to go back to what the first two Spy Kids movies does great at. And I kind of do like this subplot about this computer virus thing. I thought it's very interesting. It's probably my favorite element from this movie. But yeah, unfortunately guys, this movie is still bad. This is still a pretty bad movie, and I still don't recommend you guys check it out. First of all, the acting in this movie is really bland. The main two kids in the film, now I know they're kids, they're learning and all that stuff. I'm always easy on kid actors, but I'm sorry, I just find the main two leads pretty generic in this film and pretty bland. At times you feel like they're very emotionless in this film. They didn't want to be in this film, which is pretty sad because for a film like this, I expect the kids to have freaking fun filming this movie. And unfortunately, the main two kids look like they're just bored being in this movie because they're very emotionless throughout the film. Like, when they perform their puns in the film, there's no charisma with these kids. They just feel like very emotionless in the film. I don't even know if the kids had fun making this movie, because just from their acting alone, I know they're just kids, maybe it's their first movie, maybe that's what it is, but the way I see it, I just find these kids very, very bland. And also, Zachary Levi and Gina Rodriguez, two really good actors, and they honestly just don't feel like a married couple in this movie. Because they're also very bland in this film. They're trying to be very charismatic and hilarious in the film. None of the jokes really laid for me. And I just thought their chemistry in this film is just really off. Like, you don't feel like they actually are a married couple. They just felt like two actors trying to phone in with the script. And it's a shame because I love those two actors, but unfortunately, Zachary Levi and Gina Rodriguez is one of the most forgettable aspects of this film, which is pretty sad. Even the villain in this movie, played by Billy Magnesium, is really bland in this film. That is this film. It's a bland film with some bland acting in it, and also the story in this film. The story, even though I do like the virus concept, unfortunately most of the story feels like you've seen it all before. You've seen it in the first Spy Kids movie, because technically this is a remake of the first Spy Kids movie, so there's a lot of familiar plots that I put into this movie. And while I was watching this film, I'm like, I honestly rather just watch the first Spy Kids again, because I thought the first Spy Kids developed the plot a lot better than this movie. There are some cute aspects, there are some a bit of fun aspects, there are some good Easter eggs that I put in from the previous Spy Kids movies. But yeah, this movie is technically a remake of the first Spy Kids movie. This movie is not connected to the Spy Kids universe, which I already thought the fourth one just felt like a reboot. But no, we got another reboot remake right here, and unfortunately the story of this movie did not intrigue me. This is definitely very forgettable. I'm not going to remember Spy Kids Armageddon, but I'll give this film as much credit as possible. This is definitely better than Spy Kids 3 and 4, but that is definitely not saying much. This movie is definitely a movie that knows its demographic. It's definitely for kids, but honestly, after this movie, I can see kids completely forget about this film, to be honest with you. I don't see any memorable moments that kids will honestly like in this film. They'll probably watch this film, they'll enjoy for what it was, and then they'll completely forget about it. Overall, guys, Spy Kids Armageddon is definitely a bad movie. I wouldn't say this is a disaster that I thought it was going to be, because at least the film knows its demographic. It has some fun elements for kids, but that is it. This film is just for kids. For me, it's not a movie for me, which is pretty disappointing. I thought the cast in the movie is pretty bland. The main two kids are honestly very emotionless in this film. This film is technically a remake of the first Spy Kids movie. It has the same plot, but just with a different threat. Honestly, I just find Spy Kids Armageddon just completely unnecessary. We didn't need a new Spy Kids reboot, but now we got it on Netflix. At least it came out on Netflix, not in theaters, but that's all I gotta say. I'm going to give Spy Kids Armageddon a D+. But kids, do check this movie out. You might like this film, you might enjoy this film, but this is just my opinion on this film. This film is definitely not for me, so this is coming from a guy that is 23 years old and is just watching this film, wanting to see a movie, and honestly, Spy Kids Armageddon is not for me. But guys, let me know in the comments below if you like this movie, hate this movie, or you thought it's okay. Let me know in the comments below, and what is your favorite Spy Kids movie in the series? Let me know that also in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below, keep contact with me, and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel notified for my latest movie reviews and other movie related content. And now, excuse me guys, after this movie, I kind of want to watch The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl after this movie, because it's actually a fun watch. So, have a nice day.
He ruined my dream